Now, I do want to get the shape of this thing going underneath, and let's take a look what's happening. From the side, it comes around, so it follows this curve here, but it's a little smushed. So that's exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start with an arc to get that smushed look, and then I'm going to from the back here, I'm going to try to see this corner here. So I have to tilt it down, and then I have to bring it around to the side. So that's what I'm going to do next. I don't need the images, so I'm going to turn them off. Look at it from the front and the top. And now I'm going to start. There's an old tool underneath here called the quarter arc. And the quarter arc gives me the ability to draw a line. And turns into a polyline when I'm done. I can convert that to a NURBS curve, and I want to bend it down. I want to actually move it into place. Now it has to come forward just a little bit, and where it's coming forward is where the hole is on the cane chair seat. So I'm just pushing it down a little bit. I'm going to convert this to a NURBS curve. Modify, convert to NURBS curve. And it's going to be on the ground, but now I can raise it up. I know this is 18 inches tall minus an inch and a half. So, and then I'm going to use a thickness of about an inch. So I just want to, it'll be 18 in the air minus an inch and a half and minus, let's say, another 3/4. So that's minus 1.25. So that's below, slightly below the chair. And I want to come down a little bit more than that, actually. So I'm going to move it down by selecting it and filling in the Z value. So minus another 3/4, let's say minus 1.25 again. That way, that'll be more like it. Now what I want to do is bend it down. So if I use the reshape tool, and this time I'm going to lock the Z-axis, what I'm going to do is tip just a little bit. So I'm going to choose the that one, and that is 1 foot 3.5, and I could do the same thing here, 1 foot 3.5 or so, and then move this one down a little bit more. I might have to do that from an angle because it's turning more than I want. So what I'm going to do is adjust to make it a curve. What I want to do is adjust this down. I'm just doing this by eye, actually, at this point. Nice smooth curve, and let's take a look. Like that. And I'm going to continue the curve. So at this point, really what I'm doing is adjusting all those Z values. Pressing the Z key again, and I want a nice smooth curve. And this one. Again, I'm using that Z key so that I can get this nice curve part. Now let's take a look. And it looks like I want to come down in the front now a little bit. And the reason I can do this is because I've got the Z-axis constraint here. The only thing I can do is take it down. And I want this to be more or less tangent to that curve as it goes back the other way. Now I want to take off the one segment back here, so I'm going to click on the minus sign, which is the delete or remove vertex, and I'm just going to take these two away so that I'll be able to have that come around, which looks good. It's a little rough, but I can probably fix that as I go. Now I switch to the top because I need to smoosh this in from the top, because it's got to come around in back of the leg. So I just smooshed it around. And now what I need to do is be able to come off of this corner and then come back down here. So I'm going to steal a little bit of this face by copying the inside the group here. And I'm just going to grab this piece, copy, exit the group, and paste in place. It's probably not going to be exactly right, but what I need to do is come over a little bit now. So I want to look at it from the front, and I want to just move it over. Really what I could do is decide in the x-axis I need to move it over about 1.25 inches, or let's say 2 inches. So it's -7, and I just want to add 2 inches to that. So that just pushes it over a little bit like that. Let's see if it's might be too much. Just to keep it separate, I just want to keep it separate for now. And what I want to do now is blend between these two. And so I'm going to attempt anyway to use a blend command between this one and this one. And I want to blend by curvature. And let's see what I've got. So it looks like that gives me that line, and I might just want to delete this corner or change the corner to a curve like that. Looks like I want to delete this corner really there. So that's a little, pretty much the curve that I'm looking for. It's a little rough, but I could work on it a little bit and get that a little more clean using the z-axis constraint again, and just moving a couple of these points down, like maybe this one needs to come over some. In order to move the that direction, I need to move the y-axis, not the z. And then this one in the z-axis, I just want to drag this up a little bit so it's a little less. It's kind of like what I want now. I'm going to move this z-axis down. So this is oops. This is not quite as pretty, but this is getting more of the shape that I want. There we go. And it looks like right here it's a little knobby, so I just have to change that. So I'm going to go to the top view, and these three that are next to each other, 5. I just need to. I think this is why this is lumpy here. So I just want to move it. Now I switch to the working plane mode, and I'm in screen plane, so hopefully it's not going to change the z-axis. Just going to make that follow, and something like that. So now that's probably a curved shape. That's close. Let's see what I did in 3D now. Yeah. What was happening? All right, so what I want to do then is probably there's a point where you just want to walk away. I don't think you want to move too much of this, because what tends to happen is you get it so you work it too much. So that's what I'm going to go with that, and look at it from this edge, and what I want to do now is mirror this across the center line and make them a single object by using the compose command. All right, a single NURBS curve. Now this is a NURBS curve, and this is a group. So I still have to select all these. I double click to get inside the group. I select all these and use the compose command to get a single NURBS curve, because that's what ultimately what I want. Now that it's a single NURBS curve, I can ungroup it so that these are all part of the same object. Okay, so not too happy about this one. Just one more little thing, which is there's a point here, and I just want to bring that down a little bit. Z-axis constrain on the move by points on the reshape command, and I just want to get that down. Z, so it's a little smoother, maybe even just a little more. Something like that. So I've got that shape, and this is one I did by hand, and you can see that they're a little shaky, but they are in fact a nice. It's a matter of using the technique to get the shape in, because it's a very complex curve. So I started with a quarter curve. I added this point, and then I flipped it to get the symmetrical quality. I think we're good to go. What I want to do now is start putting these corners in. I want to use the layer plane now, so I can change the size. Put a circle for the cane. For the Bentwood part now. So this is going to be 1 1/2 inch radius, or let's say even 3. I want 7/8 of a diameter. So I'm going to say 7/8 for the diameter. That seems still a little big, so I'm going to say 6/8 is 3/4, so I'm going to say 6/8. So that's what I'm going to do for this. Let's what we can do is take a look at the image, and we can see it's probably good. This looks a little thinner. A little thicker up here, so we'll make that a little thicker. And the ones in the back are probably a little thicker as well. Let's just take a look. And the outside ones look thicker, and the inside ones. So the legs are going to be, let's say, 1 inch, and we can do something about that. So I'll turn them off again. So now I'm ready to copy this, because I'm going to have to use this several times. So edit, copy, and the legs are thick, so this is the one piece that I'm going to extrude along path. So model, extrude along path, and I have to pick the path, which it is. Boom, there's one, and then this one. These are the legs, but these are going to be the thinner ones. So I'm just going to zoom out and paste. I'm going to click over here and then paste. Excuse me. And the last click is where it will paste. Obviously, it pastes at the layer plane, so it's at 0. It's way back there, but I'm using it just to keep track of it where it gets pasted, so I can see it when I'm working with it and selecting it. So now I want to choose model and extrude along path again, picking the path. And there's the other guy. And now what I want to do is I'll click out here somewhere and paste. But I want it to be a little thicker this time. So I'm going to choose 1 inch instead. And so it's a little thicker. And copy this so that I can catch it capture it again when I go to do the chair.